For everything there is a season, a time for every activity under heaven. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1. Whatever season you're in on your adoption journey, we can get through it together. If you're feeling lost as an adoptive parent, this could be your lifeline. Remember, you're not alone.
Will my adopted child be okay? What does their future hold? Did I do something wrong? Hi neighbor, I'm Tim, an adoptive parent and adoption life coach. If you're feeling anxious or uncertain about your parenting journey, you're in the right place. I help Christian adoptive parents with practical tools and emotional support anchored in timeless biblical principles. Anchors of hope and healing are on the way.
Hi neighbor, before I dive into today's episode, let me apologize if I sound a little congested. It's ragweed season here in Indiana. I don't need a meteorologist to tell me the count is up. My itchy eyes and stuffy nose are proof enough. The only good thing about ragweed season is that it means my favorite season is just around the corner, hoodie season. I'm eagerly waiting for that first hard freeze to knock out the ragweed and bring in the cooler weather. I open this episode with a verse from Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 1. For everything there is a season, a time for every activity under heaven. Let's pick up the reading in Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and gain some encouragement from Solomon's wisdom. For everything there is a season, a time for every activity under heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to harvest. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to tear down and a time to build up. A time to cry and a time to laugh. A time to grieve and a time to dance. A time to scatter stones and a time to gather stones. A time to embrace and a time to turn away. A time to search and a time to quit searching. A time to keep and a time to throw away. A time to tear and a time to mend. A time to be quiet and a time to speak. A time to love and a time to hate. A time for war and a time for peace. As I think about the adoption journey, these words hold deep meaning for me. They remind me, and I hope they remind you, that every season has its purpose. Let me share a story from within our community. Recently, an adoptive parent posted about a very difficult situation. She was vulnerable and brave in putting her struggle into words. But what happened next was beautiful. She was met with encouragement, practical advice, and heartfelt support from other adoptive parents who truly understood her situation. It was a perfect example of what Solomon described: a time to cry, a time to embrace, a time to search, and a time to find answers. That's what our community is all about. You are not alone. There are others who get it and want to walk with you. Of course, not every season is heavy. Solomon also said, there's a time to laugh. Sometimes in our group, I'll post things just to bring a smile. A while back, I shared a picture of an old drive-in movie speaker with the caption, "If you know what this is, you're vintage." The comments were hilarious. So many people proudly claiming vintage status with laughing emojis. Another time I posted a chart of different ways to prepare hot dogs and asked people in the group to pick their superior method. My method wasn't on the list, so I added it. It's called the poke and burn method. I like simple. Whittle the end off of a stick, poke the hot dog, and slightly burn it over a campfire. That sparked not only laughter, but also memories of roasting hot dogs with my son around the fire. It reminded me again that adoption isn't just about challenges. It's also filled with joy, laughter, and beautiful memories. Another memory I have about hot dogs, interestingly enough, is during COVID. When we were trying to isolate, I remember one day I called my mom and I said, "We're going to roast hot dogs over a fire." And she said, "Oh, that sounds so good." I remember her driving to our house and we roasted her a hot dog. And because we could safely keep our distance, she rolled down her window and with my stick, I handed it to her. It's memories like this and lighter posts that balance out the heavier ones. Together, they create connection, encouragement, and camaraderie. So let me say it again. You are not alone. Whatever season you're in, whether it's a time to cry or a time to laugh, a time to search or a time to rest, you don't have to walk it alone. That brings me to today's Daily Doable. If you're in a season of difficulty with your adopted children, please take this as an opportunity to join our community. We want to be there for you when you cry, when you laugh, when you need encouragement or a safe embrace. It's simple to join. Just go to timsuggests.com/community. That's timsuggests.com/community. I'll also put the link in the show notes. For everything, there is a season, a time for every activity under heaven. Whatever season you're in on your adoption journey, we can get through it together. If you're feeling lost as an adoptive parent, this community could be your lifeline. Remember, you're not alone. That's all for this episode. I want to thank you so much for joining me. I sincerely hope you'll grab a lifeline and join our community so we can walk this journey together and support one another along the way. Until next time, this is Tim, encouraging you to do what you can now.
I hope today's episode encouraged you to face the storms in your parenting journey with courage and confidence. If so, would you please share this episode with another adoptive parent? It would also bless me and the mission of this podcast if you would take a couple of minutes and leave a review for the show on Apple Podcasts. Until next time, this is Tim, encouraging you to do what you can now.